pick a song? I don't know. So I'm assuming he's running a Reverend Martin PowerPoint, so do you need lights on that?
Yeah, maybe not so many, but
Well, those altered,
these ones.
and then the uplights.
Okay, yeah, especially these ones. Yeah, yeah.
I know, it's either all or none sometimes.
Yeah, I think this is pretty bright, so, yeah.
I'll leave the altar lights on.
These spots, probably. You can kind of play around.
I'll just go over there. So just an announcement, after announcements, before we get up to Oshoko, if you haven't done so already, we're going to take a group picture. So I'm going to need like George and maybe, I don't know, couple people to bring chairs in, because we're going to put 3 chairs in each row, about 9 rows back. Then we're going to ask in the front row the ministers, the komon. So if you're a komon, you're going to be in the front row. If you're a minister, you're in the front row. If Mrs. Hasegawa and Mrs. Ohata are here or come, they will also be in the front row. So Reverend Motoyoshi, you're in the front row. Then the second row will fill in with the minister's assistants and the executive board members. Please come forward and take your seats. And then we're going to fill it in. And what we're going to do is we're going to make like an inverted triangle. It's going to go this way, okay? So you all can't sit in the back. So when we ask you to move forward and fill in, and we kind of you, okay, sorry Lester, you got to come one row forward, leave Janet behind. It's just the way it's going to be. So we'll try to take a group photo at the end of service. It'll all depend on how many people show up, how we work it, and then we'll move the chairs help us move the chairs out of the way, and then we'll Oshoko before going to the gym. So we do have a photo that needs to be done. Okay, so that'll be, Debbie will announce when that starts, and then they'll be taking a picture of the ministers in front of the Onaijin first, and then we'll proceed with, we'll organize ourselves for the group picture. Okay, thank you. short, right at 11 o'clock, and then that'll give Chris time to transfer over to help Stockholm with the typo setup, or Sacramento, typo 9 setup, and then they'll start their set at 11:30. And then I'm going to move Island Sunset that up so that it's continuous and outdoor entertainment. I think that's something we want. But the only break will be set up between the two bands.
And the outdoor will be till 6:30, right?
Right.
And indoor today.
5:30. Because they're going to set up and they want to do the rock. So I think we have plenty of that. I think most people have responded, just a few have not. I'm still waiting for Hopkins to say something. If not, I'll try to fish around and see what other places are using for entertainment and see what I can get. So I should have it by mid-June.
Yeah, that'd be fine, yeah. Yeah, third week in June, I think would be great, you know.
Yeah.
To get everything over to thing you might associate, you know, by quick stuff like this.
No, we have what? Charlie. Tell them to watch the screen so they know when we get to announcements, they better be in here.
I don't mind going over them guys.
Yeah, but you'll be talking.
Oh, you right after my talk?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, so.
Charlie will know. Tell them they better watch the, have them watch the screen.
Do they have a way to watch?
I don't know if they turn it on. They can, I thought about that. They don't turn it on. It's
going to take a while to get everybody together.
Namanda, 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 Namanda. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's good to see so many people here today. And we will begin today's service with meditation followed by Nembutsu. Please join me by placing your palms together in Gassho.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namo
Manda Butsu Namanda Butsu Namanda Butsu Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu.
Good morning again, everyone. My name is Debbie Nakade, and thank you for joining us for today's 120th anniversary service. We are honored to have Reverend Dr. David Matsumoto as our guest speaker today. So welcome, Reverend Matsumoto. And also we have a special guest with us today. Tom Ost from Placer Buddhist Church is joining us. So welcome, Tom. Thank you for coming. So everybody make sure you say hello to him. We will continue with today's service with the chanting of Sambujo, also called the three respectful callings. This will be followed by the aspiration or dedication of today's service.
With deep appreciation and gratitude for the wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha, we have come together to celebrate the 120th anniversary of the Buddhist Church of Stockton. We gather here today with whom we have karmic ties, adorning the shrine of the Buddha and chanting the profound teachings to express and acknowledge our indebtedness and gratitude to the Buddha. Let us remember the past members with warmth and appreciation of the Buddhist Church of Stockton Sangha, who carefully and lovingly nurtured us to our present state. May we be mindful of our indebtedness to them so that they may continue to influence our lives forever. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda.
Please rise, if it's comfortable for you to do so, for the singing of the Gatha, Texture of Life, on page 221 in the service book. This will be followed by the recitation of the Three Treasures, which is also in the program or on page 2 of the service book.
Three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony and a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Amida Butsu.
Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu.
We will continue with the chanting of Jusege, which starts on page 95 of the service book.
Gagon Chosegan Hishimu Jodom Shigan Fumanzok Seifujo Shogak Gawomuryokom Fuidai ショービング政府上昇学菓子成仏論妙正長寺本空教未証門政府上昇学利欲人少年上映修しぐむ浄土一生天にし地に起現大根不祥無才論少女三苦名根菜主役難回避知恵源めしこもわん閉塞小悪道つらつ全宗門放送上満足いよろじぽ日月主十金天根不言一種解放存公正苦六本上大集中聖法ししく供養異祭物具足種特音金質上満得意三害用妙仏無下地つらつみ不詳感覚へ力投資最小損志願や交換大聖の感動国書定に東内妙見ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマ Watsinamanda, 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 Namanda, Namanda.
We will now have incense offering by the following representatives. Dharma School student Taiga Matsumoto. Dharma School teacher Mike Shibata. Sangha Club advisor Ruby Kato. Young Buddhist Association George Fuji. Young Adult Buddhist Association, Dr. Linda Kawaguchi. Adult Buddhist Association, Dolores Matsumura. Tomonokai Motoe Takahashi. Stockton Bukyo Taiko Anne Fukumoto. Stockton Buddhist Women's Association, Sachi Yanokida. Cortez Hawakai, Ann Osugi. Buddhist Church of Stockton, Candy Hayashi. Thank you, everyone. Reverend Shibata will now introduce our guest speaker, Reverend Dr. David Matsumoto, who will give our 120th anniversary Dharma message.
Good morning, everybody. It's so wonderful to see all of you, and especially as we welcome back our dear friend in the Sangha, Reverend Dr. David Matsumoto. And although he doesn't need a formal introduction, since many of us know him, he definitely deserves a formal introduction. So many of you might know, but prior to becoming a minister, Reverend Matsumoto served as an attorney. And just because of different karmic conditions of his life, he was then really prompted to then enter and be curious about the ministry. And we're so fortunate that he was able to do that and find this path to the ministry. And he did serve here at our temple for several years before then going to the Institute of Buddhist Studies. And many of us growing up, myself included, remember Reverend Matsumoto as one of our ministers who was able to really express his appreciation of the Buddha Dharma to different levels, to us as children and of course to the adults as well. And he even participated in our Halloween parties. And I think I remember one of his very first Halloween party costumes. He was dressed as a mummy. And we didn't know who this person was because he was wrapped from head to toe. And we were like, who is that? And lo and behold, it was Reverend Matsumoto. So he always knew how to, of course, be in touch with the children, but also, again, speak to the adults as well regarding his deep appreciation of the Buddha Dharma. And I do have to express my sincere gratitude. I didn't get to do this at his retirement party. He retired from being the president of the Institute of Buddhist Studies in 2024, and I didn't have an opportunity to go to his retirement party. I was 3 days post-op of having my gallbladder removed, and so I was in my pajamas watching the service. But I, too, definitely have to express my deep appreciation for Reverend Matsumoto, and it was because of him that I had maybe this small little inkling or this curiosity too about the ministry when I was in middle school, but decided I wanted to be a teacher, but then decided I wanted to be a therapist. And so I changed my major several times before my mom said, hey, I don't care what you graduate with, just as long as you graduate soon. And so, but it was, again, because of many karmic conditions of my life, including my mother's passing, that I then was really questioning Buddhism, and that questioning then made me realize how much I appreciated the Buddha Dharma. And the individual who I went to initially was Reverend Matsumoto to get a little bit more information about the Institute of Buddhist Studies. And surprisingly, in his very first email to me, he had mentioned that he was happy to hear from me and my curiosity about the Institute of Buddhist Studies, and had always wondered if I would enter the ministry well. And I have to really thank him for that, that he had seen something in me even before I had seen it in myself. And he not only was my teacher, my mentor, and my thesis advisor at the Institute of Buddhist Studies, but also my mentor as I then took over the Berkeley Buddhist Temple, where Sensei also served for a very, very long time after leaving Stockton. And so now I can still call him, of course, my mentor, and now my colleague and dear friend. And so many of us, again, remember Sensei when he served here in Stockton. And again, we just want to welcome you back home. And we're very, very excited to have Sensei deliver the 120th Dharma message for this morning. So thank you, Sensei.
Thank you very much, Reverend Shibata, for a very kind and heartfelt introduction. It is good to be home. It feels good. I really appreciate the invitation to take part in this year's 120th anniversary of the Buddhist Church of Stockton. It's quite an honor to be able to be a part of this wonderful occasion for this wonderful temple community. I want to share a few thoughts with you, if I may, and thank you very much for allowing me to use the PowerPoint. So I'm happy and glad to be here. I'm very impressed by the motto or the message that you have for the 120th, honoring the past, embracing the future. I think it's very fitting, very important, and a wonderful perspective for all of us to have. I have a question. Can I turn on the podium light here? My eyes are, I'm old now, so my eyes are not good. Is there a podium light? Sorry about that.
We can put on some lights for you too.
Is that okay? Oh, that's great. Perfect. Thank you so much. Is that okay? Yeah. I'm getting very old now, so things have stopped working, including my ears and my eyes. Anyway, but thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here together with all of you. I wanted to begin my talk by referring to some very important words, important throughout the Pure Land tradition in Jodo Shinshu, but also very important here at the Buddhist Church of Stockton. These are the words of the Pure Land Genshin: great compassion untiringly and constantly illumines me. These are words that Shinran Shonin also valued greatly. He has them stated in his Shoshinge, which many of you know, Daihi Muken Jo Sho Ga. And so they're very important words for our tradition, but in particular, they were very important words for Reverend Candace's grandfather, Reverend Teshin Shibata. And Shibata Sensei, I had the honor of knowing him for a very short time when I came to Stockton. He loved this phrase. He would often recite it. He would often talk about it in his Dharma talks. And he gave this temple the great of his calligraphy. So here you can see the actual calligraphy of Shibata Sensei, which all of you know since you have come in the front door. It's off to the left of the front door, this monument that was placed in front of the temple in honor of not only Shibata Sensei, but also in honor of the Master Genshin and Shinran Shonin and the Amida Buddha. So I wanted to start out with these words because they mean a great deal to me as well. And they also tell, I think, a great story, give us a great message that we can take to heart as we celebrate this 120th anniversary of the Buddhist Church of Stockton. So your theme, honoring the past, embracing the future, I think is certainly a wonderful one. I wanted to just, if I could, trace back a little bit on the past. So the Buddhist Church of Stockton was established, as you know, in 1906. Its first facility was located on West Washington Street in downtown Stockton. It was established in 1908. A student boarding house was established there in 1910. In 1925, a temple building was constructed, and the Buddhist Church of Stockton was incorporated as a religious organization by the state of California. There, many of you who were around at that time, you probably recognize the temple there. At the same time, thereabouts, shortly after, the French camp and the Cortez Hoakai were established, becoming part of the Stockton community. During World War II, temple members spent 1942 to 1945 in internment camps. The U.S. military occupied the temple facilities during that period. After the war, the temple was returned to the community in November of 1945, and the temple site and facilities served as a hostel for returnees from the camps until they could reestablish themselves in the community. After that, the Linden, Tracy, and Modesta Ho'okai soon joined the growing temple community. In 1963, it was learned that the temple site on Washington Street had to be vacated for the Crosstown Freeway. A new site at 2820 Shimizu Drive was purchased, and the current temple facilities were constructed and dedicated in June of 1969. Today, the temple community includes many ministers, leaders, devoted members, old and young, women and men, persons from all backgrounds, races, places, and points of view. Their faith, hope, hard work, commitment, and devotion enable the temple to continue to flourish as a Nembutsu dojo, a practice hall of Nembutsu, a place to hear the Dharma and to realize fellowship, friendship, and fulfillment. The Buddhist Church of Stockton has had many affiliated organizations and activities. Included are the Japanese Language School, the Dharma School, which was started in 1907, as was the Fujinkai. There was the Young Men's Buddhist Association in 1912, the YBA Marching Band, which I didn't know about, and I would love if there were some recordings of the marching band. The very famous Busy Bees and Bumblebees, the great athletic programs. The WYBA, the Young Women's Buddhist Association in 1923, the choir, very well-known choir in 1939. The YBA was established in 1946. I found this in the BCS Centennial booklet, the Juzuets. Anybody know what the Juzuets are? I have no idea. I just saw it. It sounds fascinating, though. And a club that we know today, the Sangha Club, was established in 1956. The ABBA, Adult Buddhist Association, in 1967. The Tomono-kai, 1978. Tampopo Gakko, 1979. The Youth Athletic Organization in 1981. The Young Adult Buddhist Association in 1985. And the Stockton Bukkyo Taiko in 1990. And there have been all sorts of other activities here at the temple, as all of you know: martial arts, ikebana, doll making, calligraphy, Japanese art, cooking, in addition to the religious services, the world-famous bazaar, the Bonodori, and so many other great events that take place throughout the year. The community of the Buddhist Church of Stockton has been flourishing and continues to flourish today. There have been many temple ministers, and I just want to say, I mentioned a lot of organizations, but you know, the organizations, they're just names, they're just part of it. What makes those organizations important are the people who participate in the groups, in the temple services, in the bazaar. It's the people, all of you, all of the people who have passed away before us, all the people alive today, and all the people yet to come. They're the ones who make up the real spirit, the real heart of the Buddhist Church of Stockton. I was so happy when you had Representative Oshoko today and groups are being representative. I recognized more than half of the names. Old friends. It's good to see you. Really good to see so many of you again. There's so many people that I remember, so many events that I remember. I was only here for about 6 years, from 1989 to 1995. But it was the formative years of my ministerial life, and I remember everything very clearly. I remember the kindness. I remember the help and guidance. I remember the criticism, too. But I remember everything involved in being a minister here in Stockton. It was just a wonderful time, and it really does feel like being home together with all of you. The ministers, of course, have served our temple very well throughout the years. This is a list of some of them. I think that first list, they're on that wall. The second list, they're on this wall. And there are a number of people there, a number of photos that we can see. I saw one in particular, a skinny young man with black hair. I don't recognize him. A voice and face out of the past. But it's wonderful to just reflect upon all of the ministers who have been here at the temple. I was so fortunate when I became a minister that I worked under the senior minister, Reverend Masanori Ohata. He was just a great mentor, a great teacher, a great Dharma friend. I learned so much from him. His guidance and his kindness allowed me to sort of work my way into the ministry as a second career and to learn what it means to be a teacher and a messenger of the Dharma. So I'm deeply indebted to Ohata Sensei. I'm also indebted to Reverend Tesshin Shibata. I met him. He was one of the first people I met when I first came to the temple in July of 1989. Shibata Sensei was sitting in the waiting room where we met today, and he looked at me and said, "Do you have any skills on the mountain?" I didn't understand what he was asking. Are you skillful on the mountain? It was only later that I learned what he was talking about. The mountain, of course, was in the mountains, right? And how good was I of going up to Reno or Tahoe, and was I a winner? Because Sensei was a great spiritual leader, but he also loved to go up the mountain. And he was really good. He was really good at it. I learned a lot of stories about him. And one of the great stories I learned about Shibata Sensei I want to share with you today. Ohata Sensei told me this story. As you know, Reverend Shibata was the minister along with Reverend Sasaki when the Onaijin was, the temple was built and the Onaijin was established. And Reverend Shibata was very, very precise in everything. He examined and researched all of the items for the Onaijin. He made arrangements with the company in Japan. He made all the measurements himself. And so he knew exactly where everything would go and what would fit, and everything was precise. And so when the company brought their items over, I heard from Ohata Sensei, they put everything together and everything fit perfectly. That's how precise Shibata Sensei was. But there was one thing that didn't fit. As you can see in the front, these are called maki shoji. These are shoji that they and they're on a post, and the post rotates. One of the posts, or two of the posts, I'm sorry, were just a little bit short, just a tiny bit short. Somehow the measurements got a little bit off, about this much. And so the workmen were looking and said, what are we going to do? What can we do? You know, it doesn't quite fit. Shibata Sensei apparently was standing there, and he said, I have an idea. He walked back to his office, and he came out, and he had two shiny things in his hand. There were $2 silver from Reno. And he said, try these. And they put them down into the base of the posts, and the posts fit perfectly. Those were his lucky silver dollars. Brought with him all the time. And he gave them to this Onaijin, to this temple. They're there today. They're part of this temple in this Onaijin. And so, in that sense, Reverend Shibata's spirit, his great joy, his hobby is still a part of this temple. I just wanted to share that story just because those are the stories that make this temple what it is. Those are the stories of the history that we reflect upon, that we honor today as we celebrate the 120th anniversary of the Buddhist Church of Stockton. Oh, I forgot one minister. How could I forget? I thought that would work. Did it work? Reverend Candace, as you mentioned, I've known her since she was in middle school. She was a middle school student when we first came here, a Dharma school student, later junior YBA member, and one of the first members of the Stockton Bukkyo Taiko. So I've known Candace since she was just a very young woman, and I've watched her grow up. I've watched her mature. I've watched her do so many things in her life and become a minister and just become a wonderful teacher of the Dharma. And I'm just so happy and proud. I kind of feel like her dad, but I feel so happy and proud that I'm able to be here today to share this day with her as well. So thank you, Shibata Sensei, for everything. It's been a pleasure all these years to share these years with you. So let's go back to your theme, honoring the past and embracing the future. As I think about this theme, I reflect upon some words that my teacher, Shigaragi-sensei, shared with me when I was in Japan. He would often recite a very short poem. It was a very short poem, easy to remember, and a little bit odd, and that's kind of how I remember it. The poem goes like this. Today is today. Yesterday is today. Tomorrow is today. Isn't that strange? Shall we recite it together? Today is today. Yesterday is today. Tomorrow is today. Let's think about this a little bit, this very strange poem. Today is today. You know, Buddhism teaches us that birth and death are momentary events. When causes and conditions come together, a life is born. They happen in the blink of an eye. But when those causes and conditions and that really unique combination end in some way, then that life comes to an end. But in the next instant, another life arises. And in the next instant, another life disappears. So life takes place in an instant, in a continuity of individual, perfect instants. The moment of our reality is this life here and now. Each moment is a new life. Each day is a new life. So today is the only day. Today is today. What about this? Yesterday is today. As we gather together to reflect on the past 120 years of the Buddhist Church of Stockton, we think about all the people, all the relationships, all the events that occurred during that time. Successes and failures, new friendships, the last gathering of old friends, the birth of a child, a grandchild, the loss of a loved one. We reflect upon the past with both smiles and tears. But all too often, it seems, we have a tendency to get fixated on the past. We remain in the past. We remember the good old days when we were young and thin and had black hair. And things were just so much better back then. Sometimes we choose to live in the yesterdays instead of todays. When Buddhism teaches us that we can only live in the present moment, however, it's not telling us to forget the past. Indeed, we cannot forget the past. We cannot forget all the people, the things and events that made up our past. Rather, we realize that those people, events, things continue to be important to us today, precisely because they do not simply exist in the past. All of the things, all of the people, all of the events that made up our yesterdays still make our todays. Because of them, we're able to live here and now, and so we live with a deep sense of gratitude for the yesterdays that are still alive today. Tomorrow is today. And now, as we look ahead to the next 120 years, we also think about what the future has to offer. Our minds dwell on the promise of a new life, new events, new opportunities. Indeed, if we are to live in this society as successful and positive people, we need to consider all of the possibilities, all of the challenges that our tomorrows may hold. However, sometimes it seems that we often choose to dwell in the future. We become obsessed with our dreams, with our visions for our new lives, or the way things ought to be. And we look past the present, and we look beyond the things that are. Buddhism, however, doesn't teach us that we shouldn't have hopes or dreams. We need to have open minds. We need to be willing to change or even to help guide that change. But the future arises out of the present. Our tomorrows are made possible by we live our lives today. If we're able to fully today, without holding back, with a deep sense of responsibility and appreciation, then our tomorrows will take place as natural and dynamic consequences of today. If I may, I'd now like to just say a few words in Japanese. 皆さん、おはようございます。この度、スタクトン仏教会の120周年をお迎えになりましたことを、心よりお祝いを申し上げます。120年間の長きにわたって、いろんな苦労や困難を通して、いろんなご縁、たくさんの方々の願いや尽力により、浄土真宗御教えがこのスタクトンの地に受け入れられ、相続されたことは、本当に尊くありがたいことでございます。今日、日本の歌を紹介したいと思います。この和歌、短歌に読まれたのは、甲斐割子先生であります。甲斐割子先生は、1868年に広島県正願寺という寺でお生まれになりまして、本願寺派の僧侶であり、教育者でもあります。京都女子学園の創設者でありました。甲斐割子先生は非常に優れた詩人、ポエトでもあります。歌手としては、草かごと落葉かごです。それはなかなか親しい和歌のコレクションであります。1962年、甲斐割子先生が95歳でお浄土へ行かれました。今日ご紹介いたします歌は、お念仏の命を川水の流れに例えています。読ませていただきますと、岩もあり、この根もあれど、さらさらと、たださらさらと水の流れるとあります。繰り返して読みますと、岩もあり、この根もあれど、さらさらと、たださらさらと水の流れる。川水の流れは、時に岩に、時に木の根に遮られても、岩や木の根に沿うようにして、さらさらと流れていきます。人生の中で私たちはさまざまな困難に突き当たります。それらを好みに受け止めながら、水のようにさらさらと流れていくことができます。それが念仏者の生き方であること、そして浄土真宗の救いの働きであることを、この歌は教えてくださっていると思います。人生は岩や木の根にも相当します。さまざまな困難や障りに次々に出会うものでありますけれども、念仏に生かされているなら、どんな困難、どんな障りに当たっても、川の水がさらさらと流れていくように、念仏に力づけられ、喜びの中に人生を送ることができると、そういう心であります。そしてそうした触りがあったからこそ、お念仏、阿弥陀如来様のお慈悲に出会うことができたのかと受け取らせていただきます。そういうことで、どんな苦悩をも乗り越えて生きていける世界が開かれてくるのであります。 人生の困難に対し、さらさらとした水の流れのような生き方ができるのであります。そして結局、広い広い海に流れゆく、お浄土へ帰り着く私たちのお念仏の命であることを教えてくださっていると思います。私たちはその命を遠い過去からつながるご縁の中でいただき、今、この日まで生きてきた紛れもない現実があります。そこには決して一人の思いだけで生きてきたのではなく、多くの願いと多くのご縁により命を賜ったのでありました。だからこそ命が生かされ生きているといただくところであると言いましょう。どうか多くの方々のご縁と願いの中にある私たちの命をいただいた感謝の念とともに、この命が生かされている間に、遠い過去からつながるご縁のいわれに耳を傾けさせていただき、どこに向こうとしているのかを聞かせていただく人生であります。本日、スタックトン仏教会の120周年記念法要を通して、私たちの命の意味、価値、大切さに出会い、本当の人生に生かしていただけると念じて申し上げます。簡単ではございますが、一言日本語の挨拶を終わせていただきたいと思います。Today I would like to introduce to you a poem. It's one of my favorite poems. It's a Japanese tanka poem, and it was composed by Reverend Wariko Kai. Reverend Kai was a Jodo Shinshu minister. She was born in Hiroshima. Not only was she a noted educator who founded the Kyoto Women's College, but Kai Wariko Sensei was also a well-known poet. This is a poem that I treasure very much. Let me read it to you in English. This is my English translation. Though there may be rocks as well as the roots of trees, it burbles. It just burbles and burbles. River water flows and flows. Reading it again. Though there may be rocks as well as the roots of trees, it burbles. It just burbles and burbles. River water flows and flows. I think the imagery that's painted here is of a single river that's flowing down a mountain from a single source. Perhaps a spring, perhaps a lake, perhaps a snow-capped mountain. The river water starts out very small, almost like a trickle, but it's moving downward in constant motion, downward toward the sea. Along the way, the river naturally comes upon many obstacles, like rocks and tree roots, perhaps hills or fields of grass. And just for an instant, when the waters of the river come upon an obstacle, they pool in front of the obstacle. They stop just a bit. But in the next instant, they go around the trees. They go through, they go around and over the rocks. They continue on, downward toward the sea. And as the river waters move over the rocks and through the trees and through the fields, they begin to move. They begin to dance. They begin to sing. And the river waters continue on, now not in spite of the obstacles, but because of the obstacles. The river waters move and grow and sing and dance. I think this poem by Kai Wariko Sensei expresses the truth of life with eloquent simplicity. Each of us is just like those river waters. In our journey of life, we will encounter many obstacles that seem to block our progress. A failure at work or school, a sudden illness, the inevitable oncoming of old age, or the death of someone we love. We could fall victim to those events. We could allow them to control us, or we could pretend that they do not exist. We could allow ourselves, like the river waters, to pool up at that obstacle and stop. But we know that's not how life works, because just as the waters of the river continue on, over and around and through the obstacles, so we do not fall victim to those events. Instead, we can accept them. We can embrace them. We can learn from those difficulties. We can grow because of those obstacles. We can come to dance freely around, over, and even through those obstacles, and by doing so, we can take them into ourselves and make them our own. We can allow them to teach and fulfill us, to bring depth and meaning to our lives. As we listen to the Dharma, and we live with the Nembutsu in our hearts, we will realize that we are always surrounded and embraced by the great compassionate heart of the Buddha. This is the story of our lives. The realities of our lives can lead us to the Buddha Dharma, to the path of the Nembutsu. Today, we are celebrating the 120th anniversary of the Buddhist Church of Stockton by hearing the Dharma together with all of our fellow Nembutsu followers. We know that we can honor the past and embrace the future by living fully in the present, with hearts filled with appreciation and commitment. By realizing that Amida Buddha's great compassion untiringly and constantly illumines us in all times and in all situations, we will learn to live naturally with peace, freedom, and joy today and in each day going forward. I would like to conclude my talks by asking all of you to join me in Gassho as we hear the words now of Shinran Shonin, words that he shares with us in the postscript of his Kyogyo Shinsho. Joyous I am, my heart and mind being rooted in the Buddha ground of the universal vow, and my thoughts and feelings flowing within the Dharma ocean, which is beyond comprehension. I am deeply aware of the Tathagata's immense compassion, and I sincerely revere the benevolent care behind the master's teaching activity. My joy grows ever fuller, my gratitude and indebtedness ever more compelling. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Matsumoto, for your wonderful message and a little trip down memory lane. For those of you who don't know, I want to give him a little shout out because it is something that was very near and dear to me, but Reverend Matsumoto founded Stockton Bukkyo Taiko back in 1980. And so he's very much ingrained in the church here with us today. Please stand if it's comfortable for you to do so for the singing of Gatha, When We See the Golden Sun, on page 227 in the service book, followed by the recitation of our pledge, which can be found on the inside back cover of the service book.
Our pledge. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Cindy, do you want to come down to watch the slideshow?
We need just a minute to set up for the next part of our program, which is a slideshow presentation or video that was prepared by Darlene Bagshaw. So please be patient.
hearts and open hands, our Issei pioneers arrived, carrying Dharma across the land. From distant shores to Stockton town, they gathered near the Dharma light. A humble temple softly rose to guide the weary through the night. They built a home for every soul, a Sangha strong in joy and pain. Amida's wisdom called them forth like gentle everlasting rain. Through every season, through every change, the Dharma carried us along. Golden leaves are falling softly, stories carried through the years. Voices of our mothers, fathers, still are singing in our ears. Hand in hand we walk together, past and future side by side. Buddha's compassion shines forever, like the Jinko standing high. Then came the winds of change one day. A freeway crossed our temple ground. The city grew, the roads moved in, yet hope and courage still were found. Though uncertainty was near, the Sangha chose the selfless way. Accepting life's impermanence, they built a new one Shimizu way. Young and old worked side by side, with laughter, sweat, and endless care, creating peaceful space for all, where every heart was welcome there. No fear, no judgment, no walls divide. Hamida's light embraces all. Golden leaves are falling softly, stories carried through the years. Voices of our mothers, fathers, still are singing in our ears. Hand in hand we walk together, past and future side by side. Buddha's compassion shines forever, like the Jinko standing high. Now the years move ever onward, time has touched these aging walls. Still the spirit of our temple lies within these peaceful halls. What was planted long before us now depends on hearts today. If we nurture what they gave us, their bright dream will never fade. Every offering matters deeply, every kindness helps us grow, like the roots beneath the ginkgo. Strength unseen still helps us flow. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Boundless wisdom, boundless light. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Guide us onward through the night. Golden leaves are shining brightly, 120 years of grace. Generations join together in this warm and peaceful place. May the branches keep on reaching, may compassion be our guide. Buddha's light will live forever, like the Jinko standing high. From 1906 till tomorrow, the Dharma light will still remain. Through every heart that comes together, the golden leaves will rise.
Did you like the song? That was AI. I sit on the BCA Music Committee, and trust me, there are some wonderful composers who can write a song just like that. I can play the organ, but I cannot write music. So that was generated by AI with the input from the executive committee that said this should be in there and that should be in there. You saw yourself in the video. I was watching your reaction. It was fun. But I tried to capture the essence of our pioneers to today. So kind of like your yesterday is today is today, and tomorrow's today. So it's all captured in there. I apologize if you're not in there, because now you can be in fear, because all these pictures came off of my computer. So you all live on my computer. So if there's any photos that you want included, of course, this can always be updated. But I tried to capture as many people as I possibly could with the limited resources that I had. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. And hopefully we can share this to help with what Debbie and Alan are going to talk about. So thank you.
Thank you, Darlene, for putting together such an outstanding video to mark our 100 years. But now I'd like to focus on the period between 1963 to the present. Reverend Matsumoto already touched on it, so I won't go into a lot of detail, but you all know that in 1963, the church got word that the Crosstown Freeway was going to be passing through Stockton's Japantown and right through the site of our then Buddhist church. So the church leaders got together and formed a committee and tried to come up with a plan to relocate the church. They decided that the new campus would need to include the same buildings, a hondo, a classroom building, and a social hall, which included a regulation-sized gym and a stage. But then, of course, being the people that they were, they believed, or they had the mindset of the go big or go home. So they also included a parking lot, which is revered by many Buddhist churches even today, our parking lot, 2 parsonages, and property that would hopefully, maybe someday, be the site of a senior community for the Japanese community. Total estimated cost of property, construction, landscaping, furnishing, etc., back in the mid-1960s was $900,000. The building fund included monies from the sale of the old facility to the state, some special donations, but largely pledges from the Sangha members and friends. As I look out at the faces that are here today, I know some of you did not grow up here in Stockton. Some of you are new to the church. You don't know our families, our parents, our grandparents, great-grandparents, who had to dig deep and pledge over the many years to build this new church. I even remember as a teen, I wasn't even a teen yet, but I do remember Reverend Sasaki and Reverend Shibata and the then president of the Buddhist church coming to the house, speaking to my parents, to my grandparents, and getting them to pledge for this new facility. And I know that like I said, many of you don't know these people. And so it's hard to connect to the past. I point out this book. I call it the Purple Book. I love this book. It is the dedication booklet for this facility, dated June 1969. If you look in it, there's a history of the building committee report. There's a really brief history of the church. There are a lot of pictures. What I love about it, and if you want to have fun, there are pictures of each Dharma school class. So, and this is back in 1969. If you want to see, for fun, a 6th grade Debbie Nakade, Tammy Louie, Dr. Bob Fuji, 7th grade Candy, cackle, an 8th grade Lon. I'm looking out in the audience who's out in the Sangha. There's Lon. Marianne's in the book. She's younger than all of us. You can really have fun and see, is it maybe a nursery class picture of Kenny Shimozaki? So it's just a lot of fun to look at this book. But what you can also see are the pictures, the faces of the people who really gave and sacrificed of themselves to build this facility. And so it's a great book to look at. So I invite you to, there are some copies in the office, but I have this with me today. So if you want to look at it, please don't be afraid to ask. But as Darlene's video showed, our now 57-year-old facility needs some help. And for years, because of lack of funds, we have had to delay major projects.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alan Kawaguchi, and I am, you could say that I am the tomorrow, or today is today, I'm the tomorrow is today part of this. I did not grow up in Stockton. My family and I joined about 10 years ago, we've been with this town ever since. We find the body is good, the people are, really nice, so we are here to, for the future. Our boys, in the temple, started with basketball through youth athletic organization, and they're in their first year of college now, YBA, and they were influenced to even go to the Buddhist youth retreat that they have at the Jodo Shinshu Center in the summertime. So there's been a couple of line of folks going there. I think this will be a third year in a row. Someone's going to go from our temple, so I think we're really proud of that. Anyways, getting back to the original message, just like your vehicles, right? When they're new and running well, there's very little maintenance, just here and there. Unfortunately, our temple current grounds are 57 years old, which means that every year there are things that happen. And if you folks, any of you live in an older home also, you know that repairs, things start to break down, we need repairs to be done. Over the years, we've been sort of reactive, and we still are doing things in a reactive manner where when something is broken, we fix it, as a reactive, in a reactive way. But we would like to start thinking about being progressive about repairs also, or at least have funds available so that if something happens, we could take care of them. One big project that hit the board is the roofs of all the buildings. There are pictures that was not in the video where there's actually grass like growing out of drains up on the roofs that never were maintained, or weeds also that have been growing out of the drainage and so on. They're quite impressive. You think it's on the ground, like, oh, this is on the roof. And there's other issues. There's leaky roofs. Anyone's been in the gym during the wintertime, there's places that leak. And, the longer we wait on these projects, obviously, the more costly it will be to get them repaired, refurbished. So we are kicking off a capital campaign, and the board decided we'd do a 5-year campaign called the Campaign 125 in the future, starting with currently with the 120-year anniversary and going through the 125th anniversary in 5 years. So, for example, roof replacement at today's cost, it's about $400,000, which is a lot of money. But the longer we wait on this, the costs always go up. I'm sure you guys hear about it in the news about whether it's the Central Valley Rail or anything else. Every year or two that goes by, the money ticks up due to inflation and costs of labor and materials. There are some projects that we are currently doing. For example, the gate or fencing around the perimeter on the front, that is going to come down and installing wrought iron fencing. And the main reason is we need a place like during the bazaar for a fire truck to get through. Our current gate right in front of the Hondo is not wide enough for modern-day fire trucks to come through. So we need to have a gate that's wide enough, and that's at a cost of just over $30,000. So we felt that was a very a need that needed to be taken care of, sooner than later. That's an example. For those of you guys that are familiar with our barbecue building, the doors have been extremely heavy to open up. It takes at least 3 people to open them, and as our Sangha ages, it becomes more difficult to open those barbecue doors. There was a quote of about $25,000 to get them all upgraded. Fortunately, we had several Sangha members that stepped up that were able to do it at a cost of about $7,500, $8,000. So we're doing our best to try to save money by having very helpful Sangha members who help donate their time and energy and thoughts to get things done. Another project is the east lot, which is our vacant lot, but there's a lot of erosion going on. Quote from a outside bid was about $30,000. We had our Sangha members said they could probably do it within $5,000. So we are trying to do our best to keep costs down. But everything does cost, but unless someone here owns a roofing company in our Sangha that's willing to donate, that's we haven't found anyone that generous. But that being said, the roof is one of our major areas of need of repair. And then in the slideshow, we saw there are areas such as the door to our mini chapel, the washing room, washing machine door. The frame is, and things need to be fixed for the temple to enjoy another 120 years. So we are, kicking off a capital campaign, and we are, we're setting lofty goals, of hopefully up to $800,000 is our goal for 5 years, and there's ways to pledge. There will be ways online also to pledge, a certain amount per year, and there will be recognition with this. It won't be just blind donation to the temple. We'll have just a giving tree that was started by Darlene several years ago. Hopefully you see it in the karma. Your funds can go to certain projects, and they'll be listed. And we're planning on having I guess you call it a donation plaque of some kind. Hopefully it will be either in this building here or in the mini chapel area of the donors at various levels of a 5-year campaign. So more to come, just a formal introduction. We hope that everyone will be generous so that we keep our Sangha, and our future Sangha members to enjoy our facilities going forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Allen. I just want to remind you that we call ourselves a community. We call ourselves family. We're all friends. If you were here for Gotan service or the chanting seminar, Reverend Tadao Koyama stood up and held up the service book and said, this book should be a treasure because it links us to the Dharma, to the teachings. I'm going to take that one step further and say this should be a treasure. This links us to the past, to our past generations, to the people who built this facility, who sacrificed and so generously gave, so that they would have a place, or so that we would have a place to listen to the Dharma. So very soon you will receive a letter in the mail, hopefully soon as I finish writing it, along with a pledge form. And so I'd like you to when you receive that letter, please don't throw it in the cylindrical file right away, because I spent some time working on it, so, support me and at least read it. But I want you to think about what this temple means to you, what it meant to your parents, to your grandparents, maybe even your grandparents, and what it will mean to your future children, grandchildren, whatever. And so please sharpen your pencils when you get that. And remember, this is a 5-year pledge. It's not, it doesn't have to be a one-time pledge. But to look at that, think about what this temple means to you, and please give generously. Our facility needs a lot of TLC. I mean, we have mushrooms growing out of glue lamp support beams across the gym, the main support of the gym. So it needs a lot of TLC. And so if we want this temple here for another 20 years, it's up to all of us to come together and do what we can to support this facility, and let's get it back up to the point where it's standing and it will be here another 100 years. So thank you very much. I'm going to move on to announcements. We're getting close to the end here. Announcements. Please join us in the gym after service for our special 120th anniversary potluck program and door prizes. On June the 6th, the Safety Committee will have a greeter awareness training from 10 a.m. to noon. This is open to anyone who wishes to learn how to recognize a potential threat at the temple and learn how to properly respond. On June the 7th is Sangha Pizza Day, sponsored by the Dharma School, YA, and Sangha Club in appreciation for all the support given to these organizations. Service on this day will be our annual memorial service, so please bring a photo of your pets you wish to remember prior to the start of the service for placement in the altar area. On June the 14th, the Dharma School students and teachers are sponsoring Compassion for Critters. Please donate any used towels, blankets, small comforters, pet beds, and toys to the City of Stockton Animal Shelter. June 14th will be the last day for collection. We ask that in lieu of donating a 50-pound bag of dog food, that you instead donate the funds to the animal shelter so they can best fulfill their current needs. Please see any Dharma School teacher for more details. This will also be the final day of Dharma School term and with awards to students with high attendance. The second service will be our graduation service. That's the second service on June the 14th. Please come and support our high school and college grads as they receive recognition from the Office of the Bishop, as well as our scholarship presentation. On July the 26th, our Obon Hatsubon service has moved to 3:30 p.m. on July 26th, with our Obon Odori commencing at 7. September 19th, our Bazaar and Festival has been moved to September the 19th. This will be the same as our past Obon Bazaar, with booths opening at 11 a.m. Donations for the raffle are requested prior to September the 14th. You may bring your donations to the temple office during regular business hours. The BCA summer programs, June the 28th to July the 4th will be the BYR 9, the Buddhist Youth Retreat for high school students held at the Jodo Shinshu Center in Berkeley. July the 20th through 24th will be the Kiku summer program for students entering 7th through 9th grades held at the Southern Alameda Buddhist Church. And July the 28th to July the 30th will be the Red Carpet Weekend at the Jodo Shinshu Center, open to all adults interested in learning more about the BCA. These are all great programs, so if anybody is interested, please let us know. What's August? Oh, it's August? Oh, did I say July? Sorry. It's August the 28th through August the 30th is the red carpet weekend, not July. But it's a good event, so please see Darlene or the office or anybody for more information. Registrations for all events is open, or now open. Please see Darlene Bagshaw for more details. Please continue to save and donate your aluminum cans and recyclable plastic bottles to the YBA. Leave your recyclables in the white barrels out by the mini chapel under the carport. So I see Casey has, okay. More announcements.
A quick shout out, Yaba is having their annual pizza game night. It's on Saturday, June 20th, day before Father's Day. So we had a lot of fun last year. A couple years ago, we've had like about 40, 45. Last year we had 60, which was great. So please come have some fun. My wife and I are designing, hopefully cool games for, all ages. So please show up. Please contact my wife, Dr. Linda Kawaguchi, or see us for details. You could email her if you're coming, or you could let me know if you're coming, and we'll put you down. We just need a head count to make sure we buy enough pizzas and other. All right, one more announcement from Casey Ogata-Tran.
I think maybe two. So I might not be the other one. Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Casey Ogata-Tran. As you know, summer is the season of obons and bazaars, and as you know, throughout California, there's a lot of different festivals going on. And so, as you know, Stockton's is in July and now been moved to September. But if you want to get your summer spirit on early, Lodi is doing the opposite. Lodi is having all of theirs in June. Earlier. So if you would like to support a sister local temple, Lodi will be having their Obonodori dancing on Saturday, June 13th, so in a couple weeks at 7 p.m. They're trying to do it before it gets too hot. And then if you would like to get your bazaar food in a bit earlier, Lodi is having theirs on Saturday, June 27th. So in about a month, it's from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's food and collectibles. So if you want to get your food in before September, feel free to come and join in. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Mimi, and I just wanted to remind you guys that we have a discussion group, which is Buddhist Concepts in Anime, and we meet online through Zoom, and our next session is going to be June 18th, Thursday night, and it's going to be from 6:30 to 8. And what we do is we watch an episode of anime together and then have a discussion about discovering Buddhist concepts within what we've just viewed. And in June, we're going to be watching an episode of Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. And if you'd like to sign up, there's a flyer in the foyer. Just scan your phone real quick and to sign up. Thank you.
That session of anime made me laugh out loud. Okay, so we're this much closer to being done. So as Darlene announced before the service began, we need to take a commemorative photo. And so we're going to do it here in the Hondo. Darlene, they will be putting out some chairs. Darlene and others will be directing you as to where they want you to sit. So please cooperate, and the faster we get this done, the faster we can go over to them and start lunch. My other thought is when Kath took a practice shot, you can see like the empty pews, so please don't put your purses and belongings on the pews.
I need everybody to move up, first 8 rows. We'll sit in the back, first 8 rows.
So the first 8 rows, everybody stand and move forward. Think of this as a drill. Stand and move forward.
Okay, hold on. Before we take that picture, the reverends are going to take a picture in the front of the Onaichin. And then we're going to kind of direct you into the seats. So as soon as the chairs get in, because in the front center 3 chairs will be our 3 ministers that are with us, Reverend Matsumoto, Reverend Shibata, and Reverend Motoyoshi, along with the Komon. So if you are Komon, please come sit in the front row. Clark, Ruby, Tad, you get to sit, Tad, and relax. Candy, who else is here that's a Komon? I don't know who else is here that's a Komon. If you are a Komon, please come to the front row. In the second row, we want our, and Mrs. Ohata, and if Mrs. Hasegawa is here, we're going to have you sit on each side. So in the second row, we want to have 10 people. This will be if you're an executive board member or an MA, second row, executive board member and MAs. Then we're going to add a couple of people each row. The third row, if we can get 14 people in the third row, y'all know how to count. I'm going to let you figure it out. And then we're going to add a couple of more. Then we'll go 16. Then we'll go 18. So I need all of you that are standing to move into the center. Let's get moving. I invite you to come in and have a seat, please, in the front. Okay, so first row we'll have our Komon, our Oksans, our ministers. The second row we'll have our MAs and our executive board members. So Tom, can you move down to the center? We need you to, maybe Tom, you take that chair, if you don't mind taking the chair. That would be great. Thank you. Then let's get 7 on each side. Next row is going to be 9 on each side. So let's add 9 on each side. And then Kathy will tell us if we have to be friendly and squish. Hopefully y'all took a shower this morning. Okay, so because we're going to get nice and cozy. So those of you that are in the back, Amian, Lauren, come forward, please. Let's get you forward. John, let's get you forward. Shimako, forward, please. Russell, can you herd your corner to the front, please? Just keep telling him to move. Let's get him settled. Alex and Charlie, why don't you take a seat? Charlie, you're sit next to Debbie. Actually, you can go on the other side. You can sit next to Debbie. There's plenty to sit next to Debbie.
Slowly but surely.
Can't stand. Your movements are, can't stick, we all move it. Can somebody, close the outside door? See the light. Yeah, you're sitting here, Darlene, you're sitting.
No, that's the MAs. Where have you got this
Yeah, next row back, next row back.
Okay, so,
Oh, okay, can you go back 2 more seats? Candy's okay? Candy's right here on the right. Yeah, Fred, go. Fred, you're in the fourth row. Fourth row.
That's when we got the pews, you can't.
remember I told you I took a shower this morning, so
Squeeze in the
get children started,
squeeze.
everybody in the picture. You don't have to sit on your neighbor's lap. Shoulder to shoulder.
Fourth row is okay. Martin, closer. No, you're okay. Fourth row. The fourth row, you get a room? The fourth row, right there? Yeah. Sit by George.
the power cord is mine. Yeah, the cables are, the other cables are yours. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, just the power. Yeah. Howard, how are you doing? Good to see you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Yeah. Been a while. Looking great.
I've turned.
Oh no, you still got some great. I'm almost white, so anyway, it happens.
I'll be there pretty soon.